Now we're going to break down what everybody just really feels uncomfortable with if they've never done a deal is estimating renovation costs. It makes people feel uncomfortable because if they make an error, they know that's going to hit their bottom line. And so by the end of this episode, we want to make people feel very, very, very comfortable estimating the rehab costs.
The DealMachine REI podcast. Everything you need to know to get started in real estate investing.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to the DealMachine Real Estate Investing Podcast. My name is Ryan Haywood and my co-host with us is David Lecco, and we are here to tell you everything you need to know to get started in real estate investing.
That's right. So from my experience, I've done 9 deals and I started with $4,500 and I've almost got $1 million in equity now. It's $960,000, $160,000 a year in cash flow. So if I die, the family that I don't have, because I'm a single guy, would inherit $1.6 million in assets and $160,000 of income. And so I'm really proud of that. But I looked back at him and I was like, holy cow, that appreciated a lot. That's done great. 24% return on investment. So now I'm engaged and excited to get more of those things. Ryan, why don't you tell us what your real estate experience is?
My real estate experience, we're 3 years into being full-time real estate investors. Started out as wholesalers. We've gone on to amass 300 plus real estate deals through wholesaling. We've also accumulated, we're close to 40 real estate rental properties. Our equity, we have $1.3 million in equity. Cash flow is super strong, but it could get better. Like, we keep looking at the projections of what we can do this year to get our cash flow stronger, and that's our focus. But we've continued to do wholesale. We're still adding our own properties to our portfolio, and trying to help as many people along their real estate journey as possible.
Yes. And for those who don't know, wholesaling real estate is a strategy that a lot of people use to get in real estate investing. Ryan and his wife, Meg, took a 14-day challenge, actually 30-day challenge, but they got their first deal in 14 days. And Ryan, you made $8,500 on that property by getting under contract and then finding an investor that had cash that wanted to buy it. You guys got paid for finding that deal and bringing it to them.
That's right.
Yep. How did that feel?
Felt amazing. And I've said that so many times that what normally would take me 30 days to accumulate that much money, I was able to do in the matter of a few days, spread out over 14. But it was a real eye opener. And from that, it made me hungry to go out and do more deals. And we've just continued to make that happen.
Well, you've been an amazing example. And I'm just so pumped that we can bring your experience from doing like 400 deals, almost 400. When you hit that, we need to celebrate.
Yes.
And from me doing just 9 rentals, and now we're going to help somebody get started investing in real estate. And that makes me super happy. And we've talked about like 6 topics so far. So let me we started how to get started. We talked about lead generation, direct mail, answering calls, how to get an appointment, what to do on an appointment, and then how to analyze a deal. But now we're going to break down estimating renovation costs. And I think it'd be an awesome one to start with. Like, how'd you do that on this one where you got $8,500 assignment fee?
That one, man, let me tell you, I don't even think on that first deal that we did estimate any kind of rehab cost. I think that it was such I was new. I didn't know what I was even looking for, but we'd got the property down really cheap, and we just listed that property. I think we listed it on Facebook Marketplace or something, and the investor, luckily, that came and bought it kind of put a number to what he thought the rehab was going to be, and then bounced that off of what the asking price was, and the numbers made sense. But on that first deal, it wasn't until maybe later on down the road, after I got my first renovation done, that I was able to actually start putting numbers together. I was at the very beginning, it was sloppy. I would just lock up a property as low as I could get it locked up and then throw it out there. And it was just like fishing, throwing the hook on the worm, and throwing it out to the water and see what happens.
Okay. So in other words, you gave an offer that you felt was so low that for sure it'd cover the rehab costs. That was your strategy.
That was the strategy. Yeah. I mean, we were still kind of looking at what properties were worth. And then in my mind, I'm like, as long as it's significantly cheaper than what it's worth, then there should be room for a deal out of it.
Got it. And we'll talk about what a property is worth in a little bit. We don't need to do that when we're estimating rehab costs. But I did have to mention Jerry Norton. He's somebody that's been in the space for a long time, and he kind of blew my mind on the DealMachine Elite Masterclass last week. He said he takes the Zestimate, and then Realtor.com has 3 pieces of information. The Realtor.com will show you a CoreLogic estimate and 2 other estimates that are a different data company. So he takes all those 4 values for the property, he averages the 4 of them together, and then he offers 60% of that. He said he does not even calculate renovation costs anymore. And I thought that was amazing because it is so simple. And so I have not done this before, but I just thought I would throw it out there because I was really blown away by it. He says it works as long as the house is clean. And now I don't have an official definition of what clean means other than it's got to be standing up. It can't be like totally in flames. It can't be burnt up. What are your thoughts on that?
I heard about that as well. And actually, Jerry is what got me on a different path of estimating rehab costs, because he put a quick bid calculation together several years ago. And I'd kind of ran with that and modified it to match what I was doing. And it was working then. So I have no doubt that what he's doing is probably working. But I have not tried it yet. I'm interested to try it though.
Yeah. Well, one thing I'll say, after doing 2 homes that were exactly the same footprint and they were like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, I will say when I did the second one, it was a whole lot easier to estimate. I had confidence because I literally just did the same house and redid everything: new doors, new floors, new paint, new kitchen, new bathrooms. And so I ended up with this spreadsheet. I'm looking at it right now. It was a $70,000 renovation, and it's just got line items, 118 line items of what we bought, what the labor cost, and how much we thought we were going to pay versus how much we actually paid. And so I always just look back at the spreadsheet. It's like once you do your first deal, it's way, way easier.
Yep. Absolutely is. Once you get you got to break the ice of estimating rehab costs, and it can happen quick. Like doing your own first deal, that's one really good way to learn quickly what things cost in the world of estimating. So for me, that's how we did it. Like we had to take on our own deal. That it presented so many challenges, but one of the fruits of that was that then I knew by square footage what everything was going to cost, similar to what you had said with your experience.
Yeah. So if you don't want to do the quick and dirty, the formula that you should be using is, to calculate your offer price, it would be what the house is worth in perfect condition minus 25 to 30%, minus the repair cost, minus, if you're wholesaling it, your wholesaling fee, and that is your offer price, right? Is that kind of how you calculate your offer price?
We take ARV minus 7 or times multiply that by 70% minus repairs minus assignment fee, and that puts us where we want to be in terms of an offer.
And for those that don't know, ARV stands for after repair value.
Yep.
That is the same thing. I said minus 25%. You said times 70. So you're actually subtracting 30%.
Same thing.
Mm-hmm. So have you ever estimated your rehab costs incorrectly?
Yes. And we've done that on some pretty big deals. Actually, recently we had a deal that we really had never come across before in a multifamily. Every unit needed to be fixed. All of the mechanicals needed to be switched out. And to me, I'm like, this is so big. I have no clue where to start. And so just running, our quick calculator to it, and it did not get us close enough to where we needed to be. The good thing is there was enough equity, and with multifamily, it was bringing in enough cash flow that it could justify you missed a little bit and it's going to be okay. So
Got it. That's one thing I realized too, is that no matter how experienced somebody is, you're somebody who's done 400 deals almost. You should be, this, if somebody's going to be dialing it in, it's got to be you.
right,
And the one thing I've realized is you just can't ever get it perfect,
right,
because you don't know until you really tear into projects. And then you realize like, oh shoot, we didn't know that this was going to be an issue without, opening up the wall or something, for example. So you're always giving it the closest estimate that you can, knowing that it's just not going to be perfect until you
right.
actually do the project. That is why you leave yourself 30% profit margin.
Yep.
Because and me personally, I've never come under budget. It's always cutting a little bit into that profit margin, but it is okay. And it takes the stress away from doing the estimate in the first place. That is why you leave that profit margin. So hopefully that can give somebody confidence knowing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
And I will say this, another tidbit that was very helpful is if your offer price doesn't make you feel uncomfortable when you're offering it, and you haven't done a lot of deals before, and if you're comfortable with what you're going to offer, you're probably not offering low enough. You're probably cutting too much into your profit margin. And so you should consider if you're actually meeting the equation of ARV minus 30% minus repairs in your equation. And so that was something that helped me whenever I was offering on my first property.
Yeah, and today actually I had the experience of coming up with that calculation while I was on a walkthrough. I did get it under contract. I've got the actual paper contract with me today.
Oh, let's see it. Hold it up to the camera. Okay.
You can't see it. It washes out too much. But so when I was walking through there, I'm just kind of making an assessment of what things are right and wrong with the property. On the outside, it had vinyl siding, had vinyl windows, had a new roof. I noticed it had a newer looking HVAC system. So I was encouraged with the outside, not much you would really need to do to make this property in good condition. Maybe some pressure washing on the outside to clean up the exterior, but inside it was very similar. It was, mild, very mild paint, light fixtures. You could make a case to do some cleaning on the flooring, or if you wanted to sand and refinish them. But nothing was major. Nothing was like really out of place. So in my head, I was thinking this is going to be 10,000, easily 10,000. So I knew the area well enough to know the ARV is going to be about $85,000 on this property. So I took my 85,000. I did the 70% rule on that, minus the $10,000 for the repairs, and then minus a $10,000 assignment fee. That takes me down to $39,500, right? And so I asked the guy, I said, I haven't had the conversation with you, what you're hoping to get out of this property. Can you fill me in on that? And he's like, what I would really like to get is 39 for this, because that would give me exactly what I'm in at it. Like right now, I'm in at 39. And in my head, I'm like, well, I'm at 39.5. So I think we're really close. So my first response was not, okay, sounds great. 39 is good. I went deeper because in my head, I'm like, I want to make sure that I have enough margin in the deal for the investor at the end. So I asked him, I said, what would you think of 32,000? And he's like, I don't want to take that big of a loss. I really am $39,000 into this project. And I said, well, can you come off of that 39 more? And he eventually settled at 38. And I had not even thrown out there. A lot of times, like, you'll keep the closing costs in the back of or in your tool pouch of, hey, I'll cover closing costs too. I hadn't even thrown that out there. So I just we settled at 38,000, which was already under where I wanted to be on my maximum allowable offer. And it worked out. I got it under contract. I'm getting ready to send out the marketing for it now. And this is one of those deals that within 24 hours, I'll have it assigned and we'll make a $10,000 profit on it.
Wow. So he was at 39, you offered him 32, and you did get him to reconsider the price and go lower.
Yep.
I think that's an amazing story about how having the uncomfortable conversation up front really saves you a lot of headache down the road.
That's right. And like you have to constantly be thinking about the end result and give yourself a buffer on maybe my calculation is wrong. Maybe rehab is going to be a little bit bigger. Now, I can say after I got in the office, I came back in, I typed in the square footage to my calculator, and I was actually over what the calculator said I was going to be. When I said 10,000, the calculator says 7,000. So I think I'm within that range that between $7,000 to $10,000 is where the rehab is going to end up.
Amazing. Well, I can't wait to hear how it goes. And just totally blown away by the way that you did that. I have renegotiated a price, but it was because I had like hard evidence of something costing more.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. And I'm very amazed that you did that without having like a bid, right? Or a receipt,
right,
showing. So that kudos to you. I was just wondering, I've got my renovation budget from one of my houses that I did like 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to play a game with me?
Let's do it.
I could show you the costs of some of these line items, and I want you to tell me if it's spot on or if it's too low.
Okay.
And I think that could be fun for somebody that doesn't know how much anything costs, like me when I was starting out, could get an idea about what some of this stuff costs. And that way, they can actually look over a house, take pictures. And what I did was I actually got this book called The Book on Estimating Rehab Costs. It is published by Bigger Pockets, and I used it as a reference, looked at my pictures. I was like, yep, that needs to be replaced. Nope, that's fine. Yes, this needs replaced, and kind of built the original spreadsheet. And so here's the first line for you, Ryan, is a glass sliding door for a back patio. And I believe that cost on my book here $150. Is that spot on, or is that too low?
That's too low.
What would it cost, you think?
I'm going to put a glass sliding door, patio door, probably going to be, like $400.
Okay. Now I've got a front entry door for $1,000.
Yeah, that's too high.
That's too high, even if it has like some decorative glass.
I mean, it depends on what. Yeah, I mean, it's going to depend on what type of door. But even some of the most expensive doors, I have not seen one come in quite that high.
Dude, I got a fancy schmancy rental property here. Now, how about an interior door? Well, no, I'm calling these a French door. That would be a closet, right? French door. Yeah, that's in your
French
closet.
door, yeah. Could be a double closet, I guess, if you had two doors.
What does a 60-inch French door cost, you think? I have $150. Do you think it's spot on or too low?
I think it's too low. I would say probably closer to almost double that price.
Okay. How about an interior 5-panel door? $150.
That's pretty close. Like maybe 160, 170. You're pretty close.
Okay. Now, how about like your average size window, like 43 by 45? I have $350.
That's probably pretty close as well. 250 to 350 range is pretty accurate.
Now, one thing I realized is white is the default color, and that's cheap. Yes. I did put black windows in a house, and it did increase the price quite a bit, more than you would think.
I would probably say it's almost double or more for black. Mm-hmm. I've never used black. I have done a lot of painting windows black, but I've not had them where they're black vinyl.
Mm-hmm. This is a 1,500 square foot house, by the way. So cabinets and hardware for kitchen and one master bathroom. That's just the cabinets and hardware. I have $3,400.
Seems accurate.
Okay. Countertops and sinks. Solid surface for kitchen and the master bath. $2,700.
Yeah, that seems accurate. Might be a little bit low, but very close.
Okay. Demo and installation for the kitchen and master bath cabinets is $1,500.
I would say that's probably accurate. I have it. Mine are always based on per cabinet.
Okay, gotcha. Well, I don't know how many cabinets are in a 1,500 square foot house, but it seemed very standard size if anyone's trying to compare it to what they're looking at. Okay. I have kitchen backsplash and insulation was like less than $1,000.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably accurate.
Okay. Now, I did a luxury vinyl plank throughout the entire house, 1,500 square foot house, materials only, $3,000.
That's accurate.
Okay. And then the insulation was $1,600.
Also accurate. Baseboards
and trim throughout the whole house, $2,100 for having the materials and installing it.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's kind of tedious, right?
It is tedious.
Tile and shower fixture for the hallway. Let's see, tile and shower fixture. This is unclear. I forget what that was. A toilet, $220.
That's accurate. Yeah, you don't want to get the cheap toilet. You could go cheaper, but let me tell you, from experience, you're going to get more problems with the cheap toilet.
If it's a rental property, yeah, you want a nice one that works well. Actually, I got a $110 toilet. This is for two. I had you know how those kitchens back in the day had a half wall to separate it?
Yep.
And they're not structural?
No.
But they're also like not in style anymore?
Right. Not at all.
So I had that removed for $1,000. Seems kind of high.
I was going to say that'd be like,
high, right?
That's a little high. Yeah.
Well, I didn't know what I was doing. Okay. Let's see. Master bath tiling. So I don't even do the fiberglass surrounds in my rentals. I try to charge more for rent by making it a little nicer. So the master bath tiling with a new faucet and a new shower door, $1,300. Seems pretty good to me. What do you think?
Yeah, I have my spreadsheet open too, and I was like, oh, I'll just actually go side by side and compare. But mine is based off of square foot, so I can't even get there.
Well, can you tell me that in a second once we're through with this?
Probably.
Okay. Now, I had some tree limbs over this house, and I had to pay $3,000 to cut those down. So they were big. It's hard for you to estimate probably without seeing how big the tree limbs were.
I mean, tree work is a lot more expensive than you would think it is.
And if you go with a cheap guy, they might not have insurance, and they might drop the tree on your house. See, it's possible.
Right. Yeah.
Or drive their truck over your sewer and crush it or something. I don't know. They could
drop the tree on your sewer.
Definitely do some damage by saving an extra buck. It's a little risky there with the trees.
Yeah, for sure.
Landscaping, I had $2,000. And what do you do, if anything, about like landscaping on a house that literally has nothing, just grass maybe, you know?
If it's a rental, I really don't do much. I might do some shrubs and mulch around the front to give it a little bit of curb appeal, but I don't really go too extreme. If it's a flip, then you're going to spend some money on the curb appeal and landscaping.
Okay. This house had wood siding, and there was some of it that was a little bit rotten, and the paint was peeling off of it. And so we had to pay to power wash it and also replace some boards, but that was $2,700. It was probably like 5% of the boards needed to be replaced.
That might be a little high. Pressure washing is like a $400 job.
Okay. And then exterior paint, $24 a can, 9 cans.
Ooh, okay.
What do you think about that? It seems low cost, right?
Yeah.
I think I got a
total.
It says the vendor was Abby's uncle. I think I got like a special price from Sherwin-Williams. And so the total 24 times 9, it says 2 would be I see 217 here. So that must be what it is. Seems low.
Yeah, 24 gallons. That's how many you needed?
Okay, 9 gallons.
9 gallons. Gotcha. Yeah, I had
What did you? What do you?
$4.50 for 9 gallons.
Okay, so we got a price break there, but paint's not that expensive. It sounds like.
No.
Electrical service update,
Ooh.
which means they had like probably 100 amp service, and we made it 200 amp service. $6,800. I'm trying to remember what else. We did some other stuff too. We put can lighting in. So I think that maybe included. What have you ever updated the service on a house before?
I have. Yeah, if it's just going from 100 to 200 amp, I would assume closer to $2,000. But if there's like wiring that needs to be ran and receptacles that need to be replaced, light fixtures that need to be installed, you could definitely rack up a bill. A complete rewire, panel upgrade, weatherhead, meter base, I paid about that exact dollar. But that was for a complete rewire.
We did. The weatherhead is how it comes in through the roof. Yeah, so we got a new one of those, new meter base, new panel, and then it says he replaced all the outlets because before I think it didn't have copper wiring. And so you can rewire an entire house just through the attic without tearing up the walls. And I'm pretty sure that's what happened here.
Yeah, then that's a fair price. It's accurate.
And so if you open up the circuit breaker and you see fuses that look round, you're going to have to do this. Basically, that's what my situation was. Because now the circuit breakers aren't like fuses that you screw in, right? They're circuit breakers, which are switches. Right. Yeah. All right. So let me jump down here. We're doing great. We're making an amazing progress here. I'm trying to find some of the interesting stuff.
HVAC is always a big.
What do you pay for an HVAC system?
If you're doing both heating and cooling, you're probably in the $5,500 range. Okay.
So my total cost was $75,000. There it is. So let's pull up. Tell me how you estimated on yours. So it seems like a lot of these, even though these are a few years old, they're still kind of within the range to be using for estimation.
Yeah. So first and foremost, mine is a quick rehab calculator. So what was your square footage?
1,500 square feet.
1,500. And would you categorize that as a mild, moderate, extensive, or gut? So let's break this down a little bit. Mild would be like paint, light fixtures, window blinds, and a general cleaning. Moderate would be texturing walls, wall patch, exterior paint, window repairs, flooring. Extensive, and when you go up by tier, you actually everything that's under it would be included in this as well. So you have sheetrock, plumbing repair, electrical repair, roof, bathroom and kitchen updates.
Extensive for sure.
Yeah. And how much did you pay in total?
$77,000.
Okay, I was at 67.5, so we're
in the ballpark.
In the ballpark, yeah.
You know, I probably paid a little too much extra for the power washing, so it's just something that is on my fault. And also in my $75,000, that includes like paying a fee to borrow money as well. Yeah. I included that in my like rehab budget. So if you subtract out, $6,000 for borrowing money for several months, then I'm probably really close. You said 67,000?
Yep.
Nice, man. That's great. I'm actually really glad you did that, because now somebody can take your formula and just spot check where they're at and make a quick offer.
Yeah, everything for me is based off of square footage, and then the quick calculation is that price per square foot. So if it doesn't need a ton, or if it need, like yours, I was calculating $45 a square foot, and that's what came out, 67.5. Mm-hmm. If we were going even completely, where we were gutting and taking it all the way down to the studs, new mechanicals, insulation, all that stuff, you're looking at 82.5.
Wow. Okay. Got it.
So
Yeah. I love your system. It's right in line with it. Can you just say it one more time real quick in case somebody wants to write it down and use it?
yeah, so a mild, and you could actually, there is a little bit of a gap between mild and moderate. I will say that you could make a case I don't know what you would name that.
Plus, I do a little nicer finishes than a rental probably would too, right? So that's why mine might have been a little bit more.
Could be, yeah. This is all based off of what I would say rental grade, which is still nice. Like nothing is slumlord. This is stuff that you're replacing. Generally, you're not keeping anything that's there unless it's in really good shape. So, yeah, that's kind of where that would land. But so you're mild. In my calculation, mild would be paint, light fixtures, smoke alarms, window blinds, and general cleaning.
Okay.
I put that at per square footage at $9 a square foot.
Mm-hmm.
You have if we add the little in between the mild and the moderate, which I would say there's room for that because it could go a little bit deeper, but not quite as deep as exterior painting and window repairs. So there's also a $17 per square foot.
Okay, 17 for moderate.
No, we'll call that the middle moderate.
Yeah. Okay.
Then moderate is $25 a square foot.
Okay.
That's going to cover wall repairs, exterior painting, window repairs, flooring. That's at 25 a square foot.
Mm-hmm.
Extensives, 45 a square foot. That's where you get into the sheetrock, plumbing repair, electrical repair, roof.
Yeah, roof.
Have we talked
I'm a
about
cat
this?
guy, so I don't say roof.
Okay.
I just say that would be like what a dog makes. Roof.
All right. So, roof that covers the house. So we're all clear. Bathroom and kitchen updates would be in the extensive. And then the gut, we put at $55 a square foot. And that's completely opening the house to studs and joists and just going completely all new.
Amazing. Yeah. So $9 to, what was the high price?
55.
And that's the sliding scale. He gave you about 4 or 5 different options. And so thank you so much, man. That model is really awesome. So basically, I think in summary, people have 3 options. They can line item if they're analytical. They can use your quick 9 to $55 dollars per square foot model, or they can use the model where they take the Zestimate and the 3 realtor data points, average it, and then offer 60% of that, assuming the house is clean, meaning that it is standing up, it is not like a sideways leaning house, and it has not had a fire. And so those are 3 options you guys have for estimating rehab costs, which is really important because it helps you make an offer that'll actually allow you to make money on this real estate deal, no matter if you're wholesaling it, if you're going to keep it for a rental property, or anything in between. And so, Ryan, is there anything else that you would actually add?
No, I think that that obviously rehab is a very, very important piece that you need to know. Don't do what I did. There's so much more material out there that you could calculate a idea for a rehab cost. So don't bank on the investor bringing that for you. I would say be prepared and have that number, at least a ballpark number for rehab.
Yes. If you're getting a house under contract and then you're marketing it to an investor that can take it down with his own cash or her cash, I've actually heard the advice, do not tell them how much rehab it would cost because they'll disagree with you because everyone disagrees how much this thing's going to cost to rehab, right? Or how do you guys market your properties?
Yeah, we put a ballpark out there for the investors, but we make sure that we have a disclaimer that just lets them know, hey, this is an estimate this is not factual. We're not representing a contractor. Do your own due diligence. Make sure that these numbers make you feel comfortable. If they have their own contractor, I always encourage them to have their own contractor walk the property and verify those numbers. But it is a helping point. And eventually, if you do these enough, people will give you a pushback on, hey, you said this is, and we've heard this. You can't guarantee anything, and everybody runs numbers differently. So again, this is just to give you a starting point to try to help guide them in what your thoughts are in terms of rehab.
And if you guys want to find a buyer for a property that you'd like to wholesale, stay tuned for our very next episode, because that is what we're talking about next. And in the meantime, please reach out to Heritage Home Investments on Instagram or DLetGo on Instagram and tell us, what was your biggest takeaway from this episode? We would absolutely love to hear it, and we will see you guys next time.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening to the Deal Machine Real Estate Investing Podcast. Please leave us a review and follow along wherever you're listening to your podcast.